the army, had attended the, processions or proceedings at the Commission of Inquiry, which was set up here by the Nasir El-Rufai-led government here in Kaduna. The army said, as far as they were concerned, they did not operate, outside the rules of engagement, talking militarily here. And so, this has been received with a pinch of salt. It has been countered by the Shiites, in their releases, in their statements, and through interactions with some of their members here. So generally, the Shiites are enlightened people, just the way their leader is, and they're not really taking it funny with the way things are happening here.
All right, Tessa Makinde, thank you very much for giving us an insight into how the operations there are. Thank you very much. Now, Tony, let me come to you on this. We remember how useful the civilian JTF became in the fight against Boko Haram, in keeping an eye, in ensuring that information is brought on day-to-day basis, how they help the security agencies. Now, going to Tudunwada, where the Shiite sect or the Shiite movement is, or where they are very much present, how will the residents there, because from the reports we got, some of the residents said they are not happy with the way, even though they're Muslims, but they're not happy with the way the Shiites has been carrying out their activities. So how should government use, or how should government engage the residents in ensuring that nothing untoward happens?
Well, I think that the security agency and the government have to gain the trust of the people. Now, how do you gain the trust of the people? When you do not handle any of the information they give you with kid gloves. Once you have your response time is so small to the extent that immediately they call your attention to anything. No matter how insignificant it may sound, you respond immediately. You will be shocked that the information will be rolling in on its own. And people would also even be ready to defend that information. But if they give information to security agencies, and even before they get back to their houses, some other group are already waiting to attack them or to do anything whatsoever, it will kill the spirit of the relationship between the people and the government. Now, the civilian JTF we are talking about, it is successful to the extent that the state government and even the federal government by conduct have been able to, defend and trust these people. They are not holding them accountable in any way whatsoever for any form of apprehension they do against the Boko Haram sect. They are even funding them to the extent to which they could, training them to the extent to which they could. Now that encouraged these civilian JTF to be able to trust the government, even though some of them are even dying in that cause, they still stood by the government and stood with the state government. And that is what we expect, that the security agencies, through the government paraphernalia, would be able to build confidence and trust in the people to say, look, we would handle every information you give us with the highest level of security, confidentiality, and professionalism. Once that is done, it will make the job of the security agencies easier.
All right, Tony Ofoyaton, we'll have to say thank you so much for your insights, and thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast this morning. Tony Ofoyaton is a security expert, and yes, we've been talking about, the Shiite group, and of course its face-off with the military, and with the latest developments there in Kaduna State, where the state government has actually banned the group from carrying on any further processions. Stay with us.
All right, let's turn our attention to other stories now. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari recently talked about the fact that he has welcomed the release of 21 Chibok girls released, assuring them that the whole world has been waiting for them. And
indeed, we really have been waiting for them. The greatest piece of news that anyone has heard in a long time, of course, was the release of the 21 Chibok girls. Now, he made the statement through Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who represented him while receiving the girls at the Department of State Security Medical Center, Abuja. The State House correspondent Maria Olashinde reports.
It is confirmed that 21 of the over 200 girls that were abducted from their school in Chibok, Borno State, has been released. The reason why Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is here with some members of the President Muhammadu Buhari's cabinet to see the girls. The Vice President assured the girls that the federal government will do everything possible within its means to assist them. It has been a long wait since the night of April the 14th, 2014, when 276 female students were kidnapped from the government secondary school in the town of Chibok in Borno State by the insurgents Boko Haram. There had been many failed attempts at rescue in the past, with many Nigerians doubtful that such a large number of girls could ever be recovered. The first ray of hope in this direction came on May 18, 2016, when Amina Ali Nkeki became the first Chibok girl to be rescued and brought straight to President Buhari. Since then, the government said it has not relented in its efforts to recover the remaining girls in captivity, which is why the release of this first batch of 21 girls from the Boko Haram enclave is heartwarming. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, his wife, Dolapo Osinbajo, and some members of President Muhammadu Buhari's cabinet are on hand to receive the girls on their arrival in Abuja in custody of the DSS.
We're also going to make sure that while you are here, we'll not only just take good care of you, we're going to see to it that everything that you require going forward, perhaps your education, those who need to go back to school, those who need to find some employment and all of that, we're going to make sure that we make all the provision for you. The government is very committed. The president has asked me in particular to say how very, very excited he is.
Emotions set in when the wife of the vice president, Dolapo Osinbajo, hugs the girls with tears of joy, and the vice president shakes hands with the girls.
The girls, their age is from 18 to 22. Well, we've done a lot already. We've examined them medically. Some of the results we have seen, and some are still coming in. We've tried to make them relax. We've already procured all the things that they would need in terms of toiletries, change of clothing, and everything that they will need.
The Director General of the DSS, Lawal Daura, who has been the custodian of the girls since they arrived, officially hands over the girls to the Vice President.
We are rescued in the early hours of today, and we are grateful that God has made this possible. And we are also very hopeful that this negotiation, which brought about the rescue of these 21 girls, will continue, and hopefully the rest of the girls will also be found, or rather released, very soon.
The parents of the girls are to come and see them at the center for identification, where they will be kept for security purposes. Maria Olashinde, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, TVC News has been keeping tabs on this story since it broke more than 900 days ago. That's referring to the abduction of the girls. And we have now in-house analyst and senior researcher Cyril Abaku joining us right now. Cyril, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Good to have you.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
And we have also via phone is the spokesperson of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, Abubakar Abdullahi. Good morning, Abubakar.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, before I come to Cyril, Abubakar, let me ask you this. Give us a picture of within the group what has been going on since yesterday when you heard of the release of about 21 girls.
Well, it's elation, it's delight, everybody is happy, people are thinking
about what is possible now. It's been a long advocacy, 898 days as at yesterday, 899 days today. And so it's a moment to reflect and to be proud of what we have been able to do, but also to think about the parents whose possibilities are now limitless, all of them. But specifically to congratulate the ones whose daughters are back, and to congratulate the daughters for freedom as well. And also to congratulate the Mr. President on this victory so far.
Indeed, I mean, this was very cheering news for many Nigerians, and indeed the international community, media has been abuzz with the release of these 21 girls. Now, looking at the appearance of these young women, and one of them, of course, carrying a baby, what has been going on in the mind, well, within your group as to their appearance? And you did say, talking about the group, that the release of these girls was wonderful. Is there going to be a change in strategy to ensure the release of the remaining girls?
Well, I don't know what you specifically mean by a change in strategy, but as to the condition of the girls, it is actually expected. We didn't expect that they were on a vacation. We are actually proud of the condition we've seen them in, even though it seems dire. The fact of the matter is the group, along with parents of the girls, have maintained over the course of the advocacy that we want the girls back. In whatever condition they come back alive, we will accept them, we will nurture them back with love and care, and they will be reintegrated back into the society. And I think that is the most important thing now for the girls. They are back. Yes, they'll go through a process of debriefing, but their rehabilitation needs to start immediately. And I think that would be the focus for now.
All right. Abubakar, we'll come back to you on this. Let me bring in Cyril in here. Now, we understand that the Red Cross and the Swiss government were some of the persons behind the negotiations that led to the release. And when I spoke to a lot of Nigerians yesterday after the break of the news, and they said, why Swiss government? Why the Red Cross? There were questions like that. But from your findings, what have you found? Why the Red Cross? Why the Swiss government? These are agents that are totally off, that no one would really have thought that.
Well, let me start by saying that we all congratulate the Nigerian government. Right now, I think what matters to all of us is that the girls have been released. Every other discussion that comes seems to be secondary. But I think it also needs to be addressed. You know that sometime, I think in 2014, there was an announcement by the Nigerian government then, the Jonathan administration, that the girls had been released, that they had, had negotiations, I think, with the help of the Chadian government. But I think that thing didn't actually work out. And then at the recent summit in the US, at the UN summit, President Buhari actually categorically said that he wanted foreign assistance to negotiate the release of these girls. Yes, and again, you see, when you're dealing with a terrorist organization, you have to be extremely careful. When Minister Lai Mohammed was saying that this was a result of trust built on both sides, even if we're going to take that on the ephemeral value, for what it is, you need that element of someone who perhaps has no stake in this case, who will be able to be a safe non-partisan go-between. Yes, so that the terms can be properly worked out. Because it seems as if both Boko Haram and the Nigerian government have grudges against one another. So somehow the need for someone for a
neutral person.
Yes, for a neutral go-between. In which case the Swiss government came in very instructive, and then again the Red Cross. One would have thought that normally by the time the deal would have been struck, towards the end of negotiations, a body like NEMA should have stepped in. But again, I am not sure that NEMA has the experience and the sort of state-of-the-art expertise
to be able to
that would have required to bring these girls to safety. Instructively, you would also see that they went to the DSS Medical Center I'm yet to see NEMA's hand directly and clearly involved in this. They may be involved, but perhaps not very clearly. I would have thought that they would have, because they are the National Emergency Management. This is a serious emergency. 800 days in captivity is a lifetime for a teenager.
All right, you're welcome back. It's still TVC Breakfast, and we are looking at the latest release of the 21 Chibok girls. Of course, we have Abubakar Abdullahi, spokesman of the BBOG group, and right here in the studio, chief reporter, senior reporter, Cyril Abaku. Okay, let me go back to Abubakar, who is on the phone with us. Looking at what has happened now, Gordon Brown, former Prime Minister of Great Britain, has actually said Nigeria now more than ever should strengthen efforts to ensure that the remaining girls are released. That's on the one hand. What's your take, when you hear Minister of Information Lai Mohammed emphasize the fact that there was no swap deal in getting the release of these girls? Does it really matter to you that there was no swap deal, and what does that mean for you?
Well, it doesn't matter, and that's why we've always said that there's no one way to go about this. As a movement, we've said that the government has always had three options. We've said that you could use military action, that you could negotiate. Negotiation could include a swap or not, and that you could combine both. What is important is that since of a nation are in situations like this, that the nation takes it seriously and does everything possible to get them out. Now, each of those options are going to come with risk. We acknowledge that, but you take the least risky option after you analyze the situation in the best interest of your citizens. And I believe that was what was done in this case. And I think that is the way to go forward. That's what we repeatedly said needs to be done, and we're glad to see that being done. So we must also, at this point, acknowledge the role that our soldiers at the front end play, because it is the victories they've been able to gain that has led us to this position of strength, that has led us to be able to negotiate on this terms to get 21 out at this point in time. So you must acknowledge the role of both the civilian JTF, multinational joint task force, and the president, the way he has shown to get this done at this point in time. What we require at this point is also to remain committed, and I like the fact that Gordon Brown quickly acknowledged that and tries to get us back in focus, because it is important. We have 197 girls still with their mothers. We have other Nigerians behind enemy lines. We have to remain committed to returning everyone and giving them a chance at a life of meaning. And we need to bring an end to the insurgency and to all this heartache for most of it.
All right, Abubakar, we're trying to get you clearly, the audio. But let me ask you this, if you can hear me. Now, your group has been mounting pressure on government all the while, keeping the hopes alive among Nigerians and even people across the world. Now, what impact do you think that has had on the pressure to release or do anything from government to release these girls?
Well, it is obvious that that is the only reason why we have remained on this. Nigerians tend to be distracted on issues, and the commitment to stay on this has yielded results. I hope it leads us to understand that as a people, when things concern us, we must make demands of our government. They have a responsibility that they have sworn to. We hold them accountable to it. This is what can come out of that. So it has played a huge role, but again, even with that, you have to acknowledge the role that a willing administration has played. So yes, the demand has been highly critical, and it's something we need to do more of as a country. There's so many things that we can work on. if we remain committed on those issues when they come up.
All right.
Okay.
Abubakar, thank you very much for talking to us, and we wish you well, and we look forward to days of smiles again amongst Nigerians, to be cheerful and happy when more girls will be released. We look forward to that as negotiations are still going on from the reports we got. Now let's bring in Foladele in here to give us a reaction on the release of the girls.
Hi again, Mike.
Good morning.
Hi, Cyril. Okay, so, you know, it's easy to say that Nigerians are insatiable because 1 minute we're saying, give us back our girls. And then you give us back our girls and we're saying, we don't trust you. Yes, exactly, just this. And how did you get the girls back? We want to know that.
More questions,
All right, so let's see some reactions to the news about the release of 21 girls. Cassava Fly is saying, can we just dwell in this euphoria of release of some of the Chibok girls than all these lies of Boko Haram not getting anything from the deal? Next one from Atlola Shunei, who's saying, to worry and weep for so long and then to have your child back in your arms, very happy for the 21 Chibok girls and their families. At Odi for real, there is no way you are going to spin this. Whether Buhari exchanged the Chibok girls for Boko Haram prisoners or not, he has done very well. At Jaja PhD, just to confirm, were the hashtag Chibok girls released or rescued? If they were released, may we know what deal was brokered? At Suwaidi Baba, this week, crude oil price went up. Nigeria appreciates small on parallel market. Chibok girls, better days ahead. So he's choosing to look on the bright side and be thankful for the little things. And the last one here from at Miss Lara 16. I'm pleased that some Chibok girls have been released. I have questions. At what cost? Where are the others? Is this even real?
Whoa.
Cyril.
Very interesting questions there.
Cyril, you're smiling. What do you want to react to Lara's tweet?
No, well, I suppose it's real. I mean, because we've seen the pictures, we've seen them. The BBOG group has lent its weight in support. The international community was involved again, which was why it was instructive that we had the Red Cross and the Swiss government. The Swiss government has over the years been the major exporter of integrity across the world. That is why, on the flip side of it, many of your politicians, when they steal money, where did they go to?
That's where they go
where they can trust. And again, you see, if this had been an Italian-Nigerian thing, we would have said it was an arrangee, as we like to say. But having the international dimension, it tends to make us believe that, okay, these people can come here to lie. They have no stake in this matter. They've come purely, yes, and you can be sure that it's humanitarian. I don't want to go into the political contradictions of some of these. Program is not for that Christmas. In August, they said they were willing to swap. Later on, Buhari said, okay, international community come and help us do the swap. And the line says that nothing was given. Whether something was given or not, for now, let's have our children back in our arms and let's be happy about that. I mean,
let's focus on that.
Yes,
let's focus on that first.
But instructively, the manner in which these first negotiations have taken place will color and tone what happens, what happens going forward. And I think that we need to pay very close attention. In the days to come, I can assure you that the federal government is going to come under intense pressure. I want to see a Marshall Plan for a reintegration, because you see, people like us are going to be worried. What exactly is beyond receiving these girls and taking them to the Desa Medical Center? What is going to be the short term, the medium term, and the long term plan, which is going to involve massive funding and investment in education in the north? One. Number two, again, we're also going. The families are also going to put pressure on the federal government, because when their children are in good shape or not, they want them back home. So all of this, and then again, you see, it's not just about families saying they want their children. There ought to be a deliberate reintegration and de-indoctrination that has to happen. Some of those girls that are bearing comfort, Amos, came back wearing hijabs. You need to carry out a serious de-indoctrination and de-radicalization of their minds, which also lends credit to what we have always believed, that Boko Haram must first of all be fought and defeated on the mind. Boko Haram tells us that Western education is evil. We have said that government ought to come with a policy, beyond the Operation Lafia Dole. We ought to have something that ideologically counters Boko Haram. Let us have something like Boko Minchi or Boko Albarka, for instance. Western education is good, education is acceptable, education is beneficial. Let's have a national campaign of that sort, on which, as you have the military theater carrying out its operations, we also have a strong and robust, mental campaign that seeks to reorientate these people. Let's have people who sign up for it on social media. let's have memorabilia, let's invest in it, let's have an education curriculum. When we talk about the Al-Majiri schools, it's not just about Al-Majiri. Let's call the curriculum Boko Al-Baraka. Let's have people if any senator, any lawmaker, any policymaker, any advocate stand up and say, I vote against Boko Al-Baraka, you must be Boko Haram. So yes, we have to divide the, we have to step up the game and divide the public space into Boko Haram and Boko Al-Baraka. Let's have a new movement that seeks to change people's orientation. There will be radio programs, television jingles, all kinds of things. Deliberately, we can say for the next 10 years.
What you say now, radio programs. I mean, the average northerner has a transistor radio.
Yeah, exactly.
And that could be
They're very current with going
very
on.
insightful, Cyril.
Thank you so
Thank you very much.
See you later. Thank you back shortly.
Yeah. All right, now we spoke with security analyst Temitope Olodo on this development from London earlier. Let's hear what he said about things.
This release is based on goodwill, and I'm quite happy that this deal has been broken by our international partners, both the Swiss government, and the Red Cross. These are two, this is an organization and a nation that is known for equality, and they've been able to help. I think when Mr. President called out, the United Nations for help from the international community, this is exactly what he was asking for, and this is what he has managed to get. I think one of the things that is coming out from this is that all the people over the last 2 years, since April 2014, that have claimed to have been trying to help adopt this, help rescue these girls, there will be questions being asked about what exactly they've been trying to do and how they've been trying to help, because Boko Haram came out and said nobody is negotiating with them, and that the only people they want to negotiate with are journalists and people of reputable status, and this has really helped. So we're hoping that at the end of the day, most of the girls that are still alive and still within the confines of the Boko Haram sect will be released.
Okay, that's Temitope Olodo there. Cyril, is this trust that Lai Mohammed tells us about between the Boko Haram leadership, whoever it is, the Swiss and the Red Cross negotiated with, and the Nigerian government, do you see it being sustainable going forward?
I think that it is a bit intricate. If you have trust with the devil, if you have trust with Boko Haram, and let's give that they willingly gave these girls to the Nigerian government, and that they're going to give the remaining ones. So do we also have a plan, or is it also being envisioned that after they release the girls, they will vaporize into thin air? At least we know that these people are into two factions now. So I mean, the faction releasing these girls, are they going to vaporize into thin air? Because what they stand for and what they believe in was what led to the abduction of the girls. So if they're going to be releasing these girls free, it does also mean that they're not going to carry out attacks again. So what is the basis of this trust? We as the media owe Nigerians the responsibility to dig into what Minister Lai Mohammed means by trust being built on both sides. If you tell me that the Swiss government came to assist us and that the Red Cross also waded in, I can understand that, because they have nothing personal to gain. They are not partisan, okay? They come here to assist our government. But at the end of the day, it will be left between the Nigerian government and Boko, because they're not going to be here all the time anyway. They're not going to colonize us. So they are here to carry out a responsibility, after which they should, even if it's in the long term, they will have to leave the scene. So between the Nigerian government and Boko Haram, what is going to hold sway? The days to come are going to tell us what really this trust, this yes, what this trust really means. Because I'm thinking, is it that the army is not going to burn Sambisa forest again? The weapons in the hands of Boko Haram use pledging of allegiance to ISIS. What exactly are they going to do, with the territory that they're still in control of? So these are questions that ought to be answered.
And this is happening too, Cyril, right, smack in the center of a seeming resurgence in Boko Haram attacks.
Yeah, because we saw a bomb blast recently, days ago, and then about few female suicide bombers were neutralized as well.
This is quite worrying. Before I come to that, let me just also say that some of these girls may not come back.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. How do I account for those? How do we reach out to the families? And for the remaining ones, you saw that one of them came back with a 20-month-old baby also, and some of them are reported to be pregnant as well. These are issues. Boko Haram will continue. I for one, I'm concerned because Boko Haram seems to have been vociferously split, which means that so for some of us who think that this thing appears to be franchised, where you tell us that you've came to Sambisa Forest, but they cannot attack in Maiduguri main city. Okay, so it tells you that it's
not yet a Uhuru.
For me, if the military, if the Joint Task Force and the local and the civilian JTF and all the other people who are involved in the security value chain, are going to be strengthening the intelligence gathering and assisting in limiting these attacks, at least for the time being, it's fine. While we work towards ensuring that the terms and conditions on which we are securing the release of these girls will not eventually turn out to be an albatross on the Nigerian society. It is very, very important.
All right, Cyril, we'll come back to this. Now, jubilation, let's give you another perspective. Now, jubilation and excitement fill the air at the Bring Back Our Girls group sitting on Thursday, which was yesterday.
Yes, and this was after the cheering news that 21 out of the missing Chibok girls who were kidnapped in 2014 by Boko Haram have been set free. TVC News' Kemi Balogun tells us more about that.
Madness!
It is a long-awaited day for the Bring Back Our Girls campaigners who have sat every day at the Unity Fountain for 898 days. And their excitement today comes after the release of 21 girls who have been missing for 913 days.
Where's the madness?
What we are feeling is indescribable. We can only just put a few things in words. 21 of our Chibok girls have been rescued. I mean, it says so much. It says so much. After over 2 years that they have been in captivity, and now we have 21 coming back. So we are happy. We are happy at the development. This is what Bring Back Our Girls movement have always been about. This is why we've continuously demanded from government, because we believe in the capacity and the capability of our government.
No matter how long it has been, the fact that our girls have started coming back must be something of joy. It must be something to celebrate. And so we celebrate first and foremost with the president of the country. We celebrate with our military. We celebrate with fellow Nigerians. But the biggest celebration should go to the Chibok community, who I'm sure will have mixed feelings now.
It's a wonderful day, but what it goes to show is that we've been called mad, yes, and it's been worth the madness, and the madness will continue, because it looks like in Nigeria it only takes this kind of insanity to get leaders to do what they are supposed to do.
But the Chibok girls were released by Boko Haram on Thursday morning and handed over to the Department of State Services. The group says it is simply thankful that a number of the girls have been released, and this event has brought renewed hope in the government and the military.
Today, we are happy with the fact that our government has been able to work out and rescue our Chibok girls, and that's just it. And when demands are made on the government, it simply says that citizens believe in the government, because it is only what you believe in, what you know, have the capacity to give you results, that you keep demanding from.
Bring Back Our Girls group is grateful that 21 out of the 218 girls have been released. Tomorrow would have made it exactly 30 months since the abduction of the Chibok schoolgirls. And for this group, apart from the excitement and jubilation they feel today, they still hope for the remaining 197 who still remain in captivity. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
Wow, 30 months. If you do that counting and put those things together, it's a long time, I must say.
I'm really as excited as those, ladies and, of course, the people of the BBOG. We have not failed the Chibok girls. Is that what it means? I'm just wondering, how this will rub off on these girls as they get older and understand that Nigerians did not give up on them. Indeed, the international community.
The proper thing to note first is that President Buhari himself said that ending Boko Haram was a cardinal aim of his government, and that we cannot declare the war against Boko Haram over, or the war against terror, one, without the return of these girls. Whether they were rescued or released is secondary. They were not rescued, they were released. But you see, I think that the Nigerians, this is a victory for all Nigerians, because as a media, we kept our watch. as parents, people are praying across the country. The government as well had to put on its toes when at some point it seemed as if they were foot dragging. But again, you see, the fact that a nation didn't go to sleep, the fact that the nation continued to prick its conscience and to say that, look, a loss to one is indeed a loss to all. And which is why what we did prior to the release must continue in the present of the release and post. Let me give an example. Like you said, the process of debriefing someone who has gone through trauma cannot be fixed, you cannot put a finger on it and say this is how it must be. The collaboration with the Red Cross must not just end with the release of the girls. That is where, again, the partnership is very key, because they have been in this thing over the years, and across many countries in the world. We need to sustain the partnership with them and ensure that we properly, if it is to de-traumatize these girls, because this has happened to them in their formative years.
Yes.
In their teens, when they were just about preparing to write examination, when people, particularly girls who are highly impressionable, have not yet known their right from their left. And we have seen a manifest occurrence of the Stockholm syndrome, where the girl who came out in May was saying that she was missing
exactly
as pathetic.
That's a discussion for another day. But Cyril, we must thank you for being on the program, giving us insight into all this. We look forward to days ahead, promising days ahead, for the release of the remaining girls and even the others who are not even Chibok girls. Thank you very much.
It's been a big pleasure, and I congratulate all Nigerians and salute the families of the released, and join in praying that those who are also still in captivity will find their wisdom.
Thank you, Cyril.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.